Hello and welcome to our new video on Riskier's True Code Analysis tool. In this video, we will explain the concept behind context and how to edit, create, and use context in TrueCode. In our previous videos, we showed off some of TrueCode's capabilities, how annotations are created, and the way automated code checks are running. But what is really happening in the background? Let's look at an example of the part of an application with secure data, specifically where this application communicates through trusted and untrusted interfaces with other parts of the application. The goal of security experts is to secure the path from untrusted to trusted interfaces by scanning up to millions of lines of code, locating all the functions which perform authentication, and checking their inputs and return types. The list of all of these functions of interest is the context. TrueCode uses context to locate specific objects, look for possible vulnerabilities, and reduce false positives. Context is a list of functions, global variables, or file lists which share a certain characteristic, such as being a public interface function, which are then scanned during automated code checks. TrueCode allows the user to define as much context as needed, and then, after this definition, the user can choose to run a code check on one specific context, all defined context, or a subset. The context can be generated in two ways, automatically and manually. The automated generation of context is done via the Context Generation for Function and Globals module in the Code Checks tabs. In this module, we can add as many configurations as we want. To create one, we need to define the following: the type of the configuration, the action we want to perform in the context, such as adding or removing, the color of the context box, the folder containing the functions or the files to be added or removed. The user can also select if the subfolders should be included or not. Part of the file name to only add or remove a specific file or functions within this file. We can also choose if we want to include only the file present in the compilation database. Lastly, the user can determine the exact functions or global names, their return types, and even one or more arguments of a given type included in these functions. After configuration, we need to run the context generation function. TrueCode is scanning each and every object in the file tree, searching for the functions we're looking for, their return types, arguments, variables, and listing them. This is the final preparation before the last step of running automated code checks. When it is finished, all the functions and globals located in the files we have selected are shown in the Context tab, along with their respective arguments. The alternative way to create context is manually. It can be done through Eclipse by simply selecting the function we want, then clicking the Context button. We can see that the Edit Context tab will open. This tab can also be opened via the Context table. There, we can select the context function in the pull-down menu and add it as an extra configuration in the context, or start a fast code check on that specific context item. Pressing Fast Run Selected Code Checks will immediately start running the code checks on selected context items without configuration. The code check configuration is set via the Configure and Run Code Check option in the Edit Context tab, which will open a dialog window to configure and run the code check for the specific context item. After we finish editing, we are free to rerun the context generator, which will locate all the items we are interested in. Thanks for watching our video on how to create and edit context. In our next video, we will show you the final step, which is the running of automated code checks.